Conserving the forest means much more than safeguarding trees or protecting individual species. That's because a forest is more than the sum of its parts. A forest is an infinitely complex web of relationships among living things. It's one of competition, cooperation, and interdependence. It's a puzzle with pieces that have co-evolved over millions of years. These relationships can be seen through the life cycles of salmon, Pacific lamprey, and the habitats in which they live.
The salmon and lamprey that migrate upriver to spawn and die help forests thrive. Their bodies supply marine nutrients to inland habitats, nutrients that help forests grow. The forest creates the aquatic habitat these species need to reproduce and for their young to grow and migrate to the sea and back. The roots of trees stabilize stream beds. Trees also provide shade that cools water temperatures, sustain insect populations that feed maturing fish, and as trees fall, they serve as in-stream wood that creates deep pools and habitat. They reduce the risk of floods and negative impacts of high-flow events that can scour away spawning areas and strip away the fine sediments that larval lamprey need to grow.
Human-driven impacts like dams, habitat degradation, and the overexploitation of natural resources are straining these relationships. As our climate changes at an accelerating rate, more of these patterns and relationships are being disrupted, and the consequences of harmful human interference are becoming more dire. Many salmon and lamprey runs are significantly smaller than they were in the past, and in danger of disappearing altogether. Every strained or severed relationship imperils the whole forest web. Every loss makes other losses more likely. But by continuing to act now to protect what's left and restore what's been damaged, we can make habitats in the forest healthier and more resilient to the impacts of climate change, helping to preserve the rich biodiversity and relationships upon which these forests depend.
This is the confluence of the Cispus River and Yellow Jacket Creek. It is the site of a multi-partner habitat restoration project designed and spearheaded by the Cowlitz Indian tribe. Log jams have been installed to create habitat for salmon and other species. These features create deep pools, they lower water temperatures and add complexity to the system. Cascade Forest Conservancy staff and volunteers planted thousands of trees on top of the log jams and along the banks. The growth of these young trees will be accelerated by nitrogen and other nutrients delivered from the sea as fish populations recover and return in large numbers. As this new forest grows, it will in turn provide shade, stability, food, and a foundation of resilience for the fish and other wildlife who are finding new homes among these new habitat features.
Small projects have big impacts too. By reintroducing beavers in strategically selected areas of the forest, high in headwater systems where they used to live and where studies have shown they will have a significant impact, we are increasing climate change resilience in key habitats in Southwest Washington. Beaver dams and aquatic activity create habitats for fish, birds, insects, and amphibians. These areas function as fire breaks, slowing the spread of wildfires. They hold water in these riparian forest systems, decreasing impacts from drought and high summer temperatures. We also use low-tech, community-driven restoration techniques, such as building beaver dam analogs, to ensure that aquatic and riparian habitats are improving and expanding, and to create new real estate for recovering beaver populations.
Every part of this forest is critical to its future. And that includes us. People like you and me who are nourished by the clean air, abundant water, opportunities to connect with nature, and the multitude of resources that the forest provides. Like every relationship here, it works best when it's reciprocal. We have to give back as we receive. One of the best ways you can do that is to support our work and help us in our mission to protect and improve the forests, rivers, and wildlife in the heart of the Cascades.
Grassroots support from people like you let us speak as your voice and work to ensure that timber sales don't impact mature, old-growth, or streamside forests. And your generosity provides us with the resources to restore important habitats. It makes it possible for us to speak out against harmful development projects like an open-pit mine near Mount St. Helens, an ill-conceived road through fragile ecosystems of the pumice plain, and to advocate for better laws, policies, and guidelines informed by science that are needed to respond to the various threats the forest is facing.
We stand at a crossroads. What the future holds for the next generation depends largely on what we do now.